Good morning, Stewart's Chapel. Don't look like morning. It's morning, or whenever it is that you're watching this, it's evening for Don and I, and this is Saturday's devotion, and we're in verse 12 of chapter 5. Verse 12 of chapter 5. How you like my holy, this is my holy, godly truck. Someday somebody will have deep compassion on me and give me a brand new one. Joking. Anyway, this truck is me. Anyway, verse 12. But above all, my brethren, do not swear. Let's stop right there. Do not swear. Do not swear. You know what comes to the American mind when they hear do not swear? Well, it's not the same thing. When we hear the word do not swear, we're way over here. The Jewish mind in the biblical period, when they heard the word do not swear, they don't even go over there. They're not even thinking of over there. Because there's no way that they would ever go over there. That's not even an option for them. The only reason we go in that direction when we hear do not swear is because it seems to be a major option. You see, because when we hear the word do not swear, we think do not cuss. So when we hear the phrase do not swear, we're thinking of four-letter words or using Jesus' name in vain. So we run way over here. We are so prone in our American Western world culture that when we read the Bible, we run so far over there that we miss exactly what he's talking about. Because I'm telling you, that is not the direction the Christians that James were talking about, these Jewish Christians, went. You know why? Because that wasn't even an option. They didn't have to be told to go over that way. That wasn't even an option. That wasn't part of their life. Those words that weren't even an option. They were so vulgar, so profane, they would have never gone over there. So what does this mean when he says, do not swear, my brethren? When he's talking about something over on this direction. In other words, he's talking about the taking of an oath. Now, it's not just making a promise or a covenant, because there's plenty of examples of that biblically, New and Old Testament, and that seems to be okay. He's talking about trying to make your promise stronger. Can you imagine? I mean, again, that's a thought that you and I, well, yeah, sure, I can make my promise stronger. Well, no, you don't understand. A promise is strong, period. A promise is strong, period. It's not like you can make it stronger. Because you see, your word was enough. And it's not that way. And because our word is not enough, we work really hard in trying to convince people that we are able or willing to keep those oaths. You see, we live in a very different world than these. We live in the last days where men are given and taken in marriage, and in other words, where men make so many promises and oaths. I've been to so many weddings. People don't even seem to think about it anymore. They make their promises, they make their oaths. We live in a world right now where our children and grandchildren, they've not only seen their parents break their promises, they've seen their grandparents and their great-grandparents. And so they're growing up in a world where they don't put a lot of stock in a promise. The level of trust is very, very low, and the level of distrust is very, very high. We live in a world where I deal with young men that are cynics. They're Christian. They're very skeptical, very distrusting of governments, of leaders, of people. They always give me their reasons why, their experiences. But see, that just gives credence to the fact of what I'm trying to tell you. We live in a world where we feel compelled to make our promises, to do something or say something that make our promises, well, stronger. And God says, stop it. Stop it. God says, above all, we're coming to the end of the book of James. And it's like, hey, by the way, I don't want to leave this untouched. So I want you to know, above all that I have said, my brethren, his audience is selective. Christians, above all, Christians, do not swear either by heaven or by earth or with any other oath. Let your yes be yes and your no, no, lest you fall into judgment, unless you bring something worse on you. Our God is a God who keeps promises. When he made a promise, he didn't swear by anything other than, well, when he gave it, it was his word. And as God's children, God expects the same thing of us. Yeses need to be yes. No's need to be no. Anything more or less brings judgment upon us. I really need about 3 hours to unpack all of this. Where have you said yes, but ended up saying no? Where have you told God that you were going to live a yes, but you ended up living a no? Where have you tried to swear by the name of Jesus or anything else that you were going to do better? God simply wants us to just say yes. Our word should be enough. His word is. Love you, Stewart's Chapel.